Hello friends, welcome to part 3 of Cadent. We are learning the Tangle pattern Cadent. In last two sessions we have already learned the basic pattern Cadent and also tangulation of gradient, which is crazy gradients, and triangular cadents also. So today we will be learning two patterns which are kind of derived from the original pattern Cadent. They look similar to the pattern Cadent but not exactly the same, right? So I am just drawing a stem kind of thing here, right? So drawing a stem and then drawing a series of these shapes coming out of that stem. You can call these half S shapes, right? If you see carefully, they are kind of half S shapes, right? And then I'm going to join them like we join the sides of a cadent using the takeoff and landing technique, right? By the stroke S. So this one side of cadent, this tangle is called Dragonaire, right? So basically, if you have cadent like this, right, this is the regular cadent, and you make it half, this one side is Dragonaire, right? So I am basically taking one part of cadent and making the tangle Dragonaire. So you can also note it looks very nice in this arrangement, right? Again, drawing the same shape on the other side, part of S shape and an orb at the end, and then joining these orbs using the S stroke the same way we join in a cadent, and you can see how the pattern has turned out to be, right? So you can use it anyway. We will draw a tile right now and we will use it as a border tangle. You can arrange it in any fashion. For example, if you are arranging in a sphere or in a curve, something like this, right? So you can arrange it any way you want. Looks nice. Just play around. So you can see looking like a sun, isn't it? And then I'm joining these in the same fashion the way I join cadents, the sides of a cadent, and joining it the same fashion, and you can see the look, right? So arrange it anyway. So this is the pattern Dragonaire. The second pattern is again rearrangement of the same shape but in a different manner. I am going to be drawing these shapes in this fashion. Like a flower, right? Something like a flower. And then do the same exercise, joining these orbs with the S shape using the takeoff and landing technique. It is just the arrangement which is different, right? And this tangle is called Angelfish, right? Angelfish. So you can see both look very similar to the pattern cadent. Again, Angelfish is this part of cadent, right? So the triangular part of cadent is used by Angelfish, right? Just that there are two orbs on the ends and others are lines, right? So you can play around with this pattern any way you want. You can, add a little zen to your Angelfish many ways. For example, just to show you one simple example, I'm drawing a small one here, right? Add these lines, make them double, just like this, right? So these lines which I have used to join the orbs, I have made them double. You can also play with these lines, right? So again, just to show you one simple example, drawing a small angelfish. Make these lines as double. These lines as double lines. Right? You can also play around with angelfish in this way. There are so many other ways. You can also color one part, ink this. So the angelfish looks different here. Or ink the alternative sections, or ink all the sections. If you have added a double line divider, then you can ink the sections and the dividers will still be visible, right? So you can see here how you can play around with your angelfish, right? How do we generally shade them? The shading is very simple. Again, on these lines. Dragonaire also, if you want a different look, you can make these lines as double lines, right? Something like this, and the look changes, right? And you generally shade here because it gives the effect of going under. So as I told you earlier also, going over and going under, these places are generally highlighted when you are shading, right? So in Dragonaire, generally you shade under these lines because this gives the effect of going under, right? Like this. Similarly for angelfish, here this one looks like going under this one. So each consecutive part of cadent looks like going under, right? So you just add some graphite on these lines and then shade it, right? So this one looks like going under this one looks like going under the next one. Just an effect of shading. If you have anything else in mind, please go ahead. There are numerous ways in which you can shade. For example, you can shade on these lines. You can just choose to shade this part like a flower, right? So there is no hard and fast rule how you shade it. Generally, this is the way you shade it, right? So this is it. Now we will move on to our tile, right? So in front of me is a square tile, and I will just place my 4 dots in place, join them with a sense of gratitude towards the art form, towards whatever God has given to me, and which many people don't have, right? And then we are going to start with our tile right away. So what I'll do is use my Dragonaire as a border tangle, right? So I am adding these shapes emanating from the border that I have drawn, right? Again, so Dragonaire is a beautiful tangle, a tangliation. You can call it a tangliation of cadent or something derived from cadent, but it looks really nice in different arrangements, and so does angelfish. These are basically used as independent patterns. So I am drawing these shapes all around my square tile, coming out from the border. Right, and now let's see. I'm going to join these. Using the takeoff and landing technique, tracing a part of the earlier orb and landing at the next one, right? And then going to join here and then Again continue the same process, right? It's simple here. So again I think I'll draw one line like this, join it here. So just go with the flow, no rights and wrongs, no good or bad. It's pure art, imagination, creativity, right? Nothing else. So just joining all these, you can see how beautiful is the pattern looking even as a border tangle, although it is not originally a border or a ribbon tangle, right? So that's my border. Now what should I do? I think I'm going to add an aura inside so that the tangles that I am going to draw inside do not mingle with my border, right? So I'm going to draw a border inside, or an aura, right? Like this. And now I'm going to draw some angel fishes inside, right? So let's start right away. I'm going to add a little zen, making these double lines, right? It's entirely up to you. You can draw it simply, not necessary to add the double lines necessarily. I've shown you how. Right? And now I'm going to join these orbs the way it is supposed to be, right? You can also add some patterns in these sections also, right? That is also one way you can play around with angelfish. Fill up the section with some patterns so they look all decked up, right? So that's one angelfish. Again, I'll draw a simple one here. Just note one thing, that all the orbs are in one direction, right? That is, they are on the left side of the line. Only then will you get that look. Again, joining the orbs, right? Yes, probably one more here, right? So what you can do here is double this line, like this, right? So this is one of the ways again how you can play around with your angel fishes. So I think 2 would be enough, or if you wish you can add a few more. And then I'm going to fill up the rest of my space with some jetties. We have already learned this pattern, right? So a knob, two lines cutting across, right? So I am going to be drawing some overlapping jetties in rest of the portion, right? We'll fill up this portion with jetties, right? See here, I have filled up almost all the space inside with the pattern jetties, right? Now it is up to you. You want to leave the rest of the space empty or you want to ink it, right? So I think it will look nice if we ink the rest of the small spaces that are left between these jetties and the angelfish, right? Small little spaces left here and there. If the space is bigger, you may accommodate one or two jetties more, right? So inking these small portions would be a good idea, I think. So I am going to ink it, right? So the small little portions left here and there, between the jetties and between the angelfish, just ink it, right? Right, just fill up the entire portion. So you can see here I have inked all the portions remaining after drawing my jetties and the angelfish, right? I have completely filled it with black ink, right? So adds a little drama to your tile. And now I'm going to start shading my tile right away, right? Just putting in some ink under the orbs wherever little space is left, right? And now I'm going to pick up my pencil and start shading. So as I told you, Dragonaire, you may make these lines double lines also, looks nice. Otherwise just add some shading under the line, right? So adding some graphite under this half S kind of shape of Dragonaire, right? There are a lot of ways you can play around with Dragonaire also. Again, there is space inside, right? You can fill up this space, you can make it double lines. So the options are many. So let's merge, just smudge this graphite that we have already put, right? I'm just smudging this graphite to give it the effect of going under, right, as if they are overlapping. Right. Right, so that's how your Dragonaire looks. Now, as I told you earlier, just some graphite under these lines. We have used double lines here, added a little zen to our angelfish. Again, giving the effect as if the layers are going under each other. Right. Right. And the second one also in the same fashion. Just make sure you are adding very little so that your entire angelfish doesn't look grey. Right, and then I'm going to shade my jetties, adding some graphite on one side, or you can shade along these two lines also, whichever way you wish to. Entirely up to you how you want to go about it. I'm just adding some graphite on one side, right. I'm just going to blend it. The original jetties, if you remember, are drawn in this fashion. The belt that is drawn in the middle is generally inked with a highlight in the middle, right? That's original jetties. Here I have drawn a mix of original and some tangulations, some variations, right? Again, add some on one side, add some graphite on one side, right? Some graphite on one side. I'm just shading half of my jetties, or probably less than half. Right, so we have finished shading. So you can see now how is our tile looking with the patterns Angelfish and Dragonaire. Right, simple patterns and a lovely look. I think I'm going to ink this border because I think it will add to the look of my tile. So I'm going to be inking it. You may or may not. Right? So that's the tangle pattern Angelfish, and this is the tangle pattern Dragonaire, and this is the finished tile using these two patterns and one more pattern, that is jetties. Right? So I'm going to now initial my tile and sign and date it. So take a moment to appreciate your tile, and we'll meet again with another new Zentangle original pattern. Till then, stay safe, have a good time, goodbye.